Hey everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone, and you're watching the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. 1 hour of commercial-free podcasting starts now. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Super Fantasy Bros podcast. We have the full crew again here today. And of course, we will be breaking down all of week 2. Another crazy week of the NFL in the books. Comebacks,
not over yet.
Upsets, and more. Plus 2 more games tonight. If you want to know our thoughts for those 2 games, we actually previewed this game last week. Those 2 games last week. So go back to last week's episode. After this, before the games start, feel free to scroll through to the end. It's the last 2 games we talk about. Make sure you check those out. But for today, we will get into the good stuff from yesterday with Trust or Bust, and the bad stuff from yesterday with Calm or Chaos. And of course, some waiver ads and wrap up with some trivia with Q. So let's get right into some Calm or Chaos because we got some guys that might be looking chaotic here. Starting with the quarterback position, first of all, got to say sorry to all the Trey Lance owners out there. Sad, very tough injury to watch. Hope Trey can fully recover and be ready to take over for the start of next season. But to Q's wishes, it is Jimmy G season.
Again. Yeah, it is very sad, but if you own one of these 49ers players, you're definitely happier because Jimmy G is, at least we know what he can do, and it's probably better than Trey because he's not going to run the ball. So it gives you a lot more options.
Definitely for the weapons, I do think it's a little bit of a safer floor for most of them. All right, let's talk about some quarterbacks that struggled, starting with Tom Brady. 11.4 points, 18 of 34, 190 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 fumble lost. Is this Calm or Chaos on Brady after 2 bad performances?
Cut him a break. He had no receivers this game.
And it's the Saints.
Yeah, that's his kryptonite. And
it
he
is.
lost Mike Evans because he wants to
Hothead.
fight Marshawn Lattimore. He's missing Godwin. Julio was out. He had to rely on Scotty Miller.
Yeah,
but he still won the game.
Still won.
He did still win. I'm still staying calm, but I am a little bit nervous. Definitely just for next week also. Mike Evans already suspended. Chris Godwin already probably going to be out again as well.
Chill, don't say that.
I mean, they said he's going to miss a few weeks when he first got the injury. They're going to keep pushing it along, but a little bit nervous. And they're playing the Packers. Maybe not the scariest matchup, but still no wide receivers for Brady, so still a little scared.
Packers don't have any either.
Right.
Yeah,
It's a fair matchup.
All right. Next quarterback, Russell Wilson, 13.06 points, 14 of 31, 219 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Calm or Chaos here for Russ?
Chaos a little
Yeah,
bit.
it's looking scary.
The coach blows. That coach blows.
So
and
bad.
They're terrible in the red zone, but I think
bad.
you're still calm. You hope that Judy plays this week and he's not out for any time because then it's just Sutton. But he needs to. I don't know what's wrong, but that coach sucks.
They need to start clicking.
I am not calm, and I am looking to start someone else next week.
Ooh,
Who do they
that's
play
a big
next week?
move.
Is it?
They
Next
play
week,
the 49ers.
the 49ers
Yeah.
at home.
Sunday night.
It's definitely going to be more competitive, so you're going to think he's going to have to throw more. I mean, obviously, this game was close too, but I don't know why it was so low scoring. You got to hope that the Broncos get it together sooner rather than later.
I want to ride.
I just need to see him. Like, he wasn't that bad in week 1. He still had 21 fantasy points. This is the first, really bad game. I'm nervous, but I think I'm still riding with Russ for now.
Not much better out
Depending
there.
on your options, yeah. Not much better out there unless you're Carson Wentz stan. We'll talk about him later. All right, let's move on to some running backs, starting with Ezekiel Elliott. 5.9 points again. 15 carries for 53 yards and 1 catch on 2 targets for -4 yards. This Calm or Chaos on Zeke?
Chaos.
Yeah.
As a Zeke, if you're a Zeke owner, there's not much to look forward to with no Dak, and in the red zone, or they're just giving it to Pollard. So that's what you wanted from Zeke. He was scoring those close touchdowns most of the time, but just Pollard.
Yeah.
Zeke stinks.
Pollard went off. You saw him getting the receiving work while this game was close for the most part. They were up, though. You would have expected Zeke to be in there getting a lot of carries. I mean, he still did get 15 carries. You hope he can do more with that in the future. And Pollard did break that one long run, and they rewarded him for getting tackled on the one by letting him run that one in. I think in most situations,
As they should.
They're still going to use Zeke in like when they're 1 yard out, but Pollard is definitely going to be a problem for Zeke's value this year. I don't think he's going to be as rock solid. I'm leaning a little bit towards more chaos.
It was a bit predicted.
Yeah.
It was. I didn't want to believe it in the offseason, but
We kind of fought it.
Yeah.
it's all coming to fruition.
Chase Edmonds, 5.1 points, 5 carries for 33 yards, 1 catch on only 3 targets for 8 yards. And he lost 12% of the snaps from last week and was outsnapped by Raheem Mostert. This is calm or chaos?
I wish I really cared about these running backs. I guess I'm calm because they were down a lot of points and they weren't going to be giving it to the running back. But I don't know.
I'm leaning towards
Edmonds
chaos
is
there.
Edmonds.
Yeah. It seems like this is going to be more of like a high hand type. Whoever has a high hand is going to get the ball. So it could be Edmonds 1 week, Raheem Mostert the other week, and then whoever
Miles
else they
Gaskin.
might have behind
When's his hand going to be hot?
Never.
Maybe next week.
Never, ever. The only thing that really makes me mad here is Chase Edmonds is the receiving back. Like, he's a very good pass catching back, and they were down this entire game, and he got 3 targets. Like, Tua was airing it out. Edmonds was not involved. That scares me for the future. Next running back, Rashad Penny, 1.5 points, only 6 carries for 15 yards, only played 41% of the snaps. Ken Walker got 24%, and Travis Homer actually led the team with 45%. Calm or chaos here for Penny?
Definitely chaos.
I'm calm. One, because it's not like Ken Walker took his job. They were playing the 49ers and they were down. So that makes sense why Homer was out there the most. So I still think it's Penny's job. They play better. They have a better matchup this week. I don't remember who they play, but it's not the 49ers. He didn't lose his job to Ken Walker. Ken Walker didn't do any better. I mean, he scored a couple more points, but 3 points to 1, not much of a big deal. I'm staying calm.
As Ken Walker gets more healthy, I think he could be a lot more involved, though. Could be more of like a 50-50 split, and then Homer coming in, taking care of the receiving work.
I'm saying chaos here. Like, I'm just not. Well, like, yeah, Homer got a lot of the work because they were down and passing a ton. But when are the Seahawks going to be up and running the ball a ton? Aside from week 1 against Russ, like, that was fluky. The Seahawks stink. This team shouldn't be good. I think they're going to win maybe 5 games at most this year. So Penny has about 5 games at most to be carrying the ball while they're up. So I don't think they're going to be leading in much games. I'm a little bit nervous about the 50-50. I think Penny will have better days ahead than this game. I think the whole backfield will. It was a really ugly game for the Seahawks, but nervous. Definitely leaning towards chaos here.
I'm with you. Sorry, Q.
He's not my brother.
Last running back, Travis Etienne, 8.3 points, 9 carries for only 20 yards. Did get 3 catches on 3 targets for 33 yards, but his snaps went down to 37% from 51%.
He's toast.
Or chaos.
He's toast.
Chaos.
That's J-Rob's back.
J-Rob season. Matt,
Stop
shut up,
playing
bro.
with him. All right, you know what? No, I didn't expect them to give J-Rob the workload that they're giving him right now, coming off a fucking torn Achilles. You got to cut me some slack there.
I'm not cutting you any slack, bro. You
Just a
switched
little
up
bit.
so
Just
fast. No.
What?
Yeah, I'm with that. It's definitely chaos
No,
here
you're
for
good.
Etienne. I think he's more of a flex than an RB2, as people were hoping for Etienne. I do think Robinson's still going to be, I think it's still going to be closer to 50-50 most weeks, but I think Robinson's the guy I'd prefer to start most weeks over Etienne at this point in time. Until we see otherwise.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on to wide receivers. Start with the donut. DJ Chark, 0 points. Played 66% of the snaps, which is down from 81% last week. 4 targets, 0 catches. Calm or chaos?
I feel like any donut is a little chaotic, no?
Yeah.
I agree.
It was the Amon Ra show.
Monroe went crazy.
Matt had a front row seat to that.
Fuck you.
Yeah, anyone that played a Monroe this week, that's a tough look. But yeah, DJ Chark, definitely a little chaos, but you're not expecting much from him. He's one of your bench wide receivers. Like, Maybe you started him this week after a good game last week, but he's going to be a bit up and down this season. And the Lions were up 22 points in a heartbeat. It all went to a mound rut. So at that point, there wasn't much passing game until towards the end when the Commanders started coming back. So a little bit chaos, but you weren't expecting much anyways.
Right.
I can't wait to talk about this one.
Darnell Mooney, 0.6 points, 1 catch for -4 yards on only 2 targets, and he has 5 targets on the season. Calm or chaos?
Chaos. Easily chaos.
Absolute chaos.
Should not be in a starting lineup next week, like 100%.
I heard this quote today. It says, if you don't toot your own horn, don't complain when there's no music. So today, me and Matt can join me. We'll toot our horns. Mooney sucks, and they're lucky that Julio didn't play because he probably would have scored more points than Mooney this week, staying above him. So right now I have money in my pocket.
It's too early to say all that, but I'm in complete agreement.
He almost had as many points as Julio, and Julio didn't even play.
He had more. Julio had more receiving yards this week. Than
Yeah, he did.
He did. I mean, it's definitely chaos. It's not Mooney's fault, I would say. I think he's running good routes. He actually had a deep target in this game. But at the end of the day, 11 pass attempts from Justin Fields. They're not throwing the ball. He has 28 passes through 2 games. They're just not going to throw the ball. They're pretty much one-dimensional offense. They're running it nonstop. You can't start Mooney until you see this team at least attempt 20 passes in a game. So leave him on the bench. It's chaos.
They'd be better
for better days ahead.
They'd be better if they brought in Trevor Siemian, because at least he throws the ball.
They just need somebody to throw the ball, or at least scheme plays to throw the ball. At least let Fields try to throw it.
Should have kept Foles.
I think he's scared.
It's bad.
Pepe.
Julio had more points than standard. No,
Yeah.
Yes. Correct.
he didn't play, bro.
Yeah. Bad game for Darnell Mooney, and the Bears are looking scary. Wide receiver next up here is Kadarius Toney, 2 points. He did get his snaps up to 38%. Still not a lot. Only 2 catches for 0 yards on 3 targets. Calm or chaos?
Chaos.
Yeah,
This
beyond
whole
chaos.
Giants offense is going to be shaky throughout the year. The one bright spot's going to be Saquon. And even this week, you saw, like, you can't rely on that offensive line week in and week out to support Saquon's fantasy value. So Saquon's going to have to do it on his own as far as pass catchers. Danny Dimes is not going to get it done for you. So, sorry.
And you'd think that Toney would be better because Galladay didn't even play yesterday. I don't think they started him. So this would be his time to take advantage, and he's just not.
Yeah. Tough break for Toney. Don't put him anywhere near your starting lineup, please. Good question in the chat here about waivers this week. Should he get Curtis Samuel or Garrett Wilson off of waivers?
Garrett.
It's close.
Might be recency bias thing, but Garrett, I don't know. He's the one.
Curtis Samuel did it 2 weeks in a row.
He did.
Yeah. My fear for Garrett Wilson is Zach Wilson coming back.
Yeah. Please, Flacco, stay.
Like, Flacco is not good, but at least Flacco is like a competent quarterback. But we just don't know what Zach Wilson's going to do to this offense and how it's going to change.
It's going to fuck their mom.
I like Wilson's talent more. I like Wilson's talent more, but I think they're both good options. I think I'd lean towards Wilson just for the talent, though. But it's close. I like both.
Saying Curtis Samuel's not talented?
I'm saying Garrett Wilson has more potential. And there's also a lot of mouths to feed for the Commanders.
Kind of both teams.
Thanks,
I guess
Q.
Elijah Moore. I guess Corey Davis also is back from the dead, even though I think he'll be in the graveyard again sooner rather than later.
And Flacco threw 44 times again yesterday. That's insane. Well, yesterday, last week was 59, but
I mean, they're going to be down in like damn near every
Exactly.
game they're playing, so they're just going to be chucking the ball.
Yeah. Speaking of Elijah Moore, let's move on to him. 6.5 points, 3 catches on 5 targets for 41 yards, 1 carry for -6 yards.
yeah, he's not him.
Bomber chaos.
He's definitely not him.
Chaos.
I don't think anybody said he was him.
No, he said we're talking about him.
Oh,
I know he didn't mean it that way, but definitely not him.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards chaos. Keep him on the bench. Don't put him in your starting lineup.
I agree.
Wilson looked way more involved. His targets went down this week. A little bit nervous.
Garrett Wilson basically single-handedly won the Jets that game.
Yep.
Yeah, he went off. Juju Smith-Schuster,
Stinky.
4 points,
Poo
3
Poo
catches,
Smith
3
shitter.
targets for 10 yards. Calmer chaos.
Chaos.
Chaos. You want
First
Mooney
2
for him?
weeks.
Maybe. You might just trade bad wide receivers.
It's gonna be a weekly thing, I guess.
Trade chaotic wideouts.
Yeah. Juju, I think I'm a little bit more calm, obviously, than Mooney, but still leaning towards chaos. Chiefs are going to spread the ball around. Travis Kelce is going to be the clear number 1, and wide receivers elsewhere. Who knows who's going to get the ball? So
It's feast or famine.
I think Juju's going to be a decent flex moving forward, but not very trustworthy. Might be inconsistent. So a little nervous.
Very nervous.
Last one here for wide receivers. DK Metcalf, 7.5 points, 4 catches, 6 targets for 35 yards. Calm or chaos?
Chaos. I think this is just his
Scary.
reality this season.
Yep.
And we tried to fight it because DK is great, but Geno Smith is not. He didn't even do well he did okay last week, but this is
He had a
just what
bunch
it
of
is.
catches for like no yards.
Yeah.
He was like
7
Jarvis
for
Landry out
36.
there.
Yeah, exactly. Last week was pretty mid. This week even worse. Leaning towards chaos, but I still think he's going to be a decent flex throughout the season, just a bit up and down. You're hoping the touchdowns come sooner rather than later. Really ugly day overall for the Seahawks, aside from another guy we'll talk about later. Tight ends for calmer chaos. This one hurts a little bit. Kyle Pitts, 3.9 points, 2 catches on 3 targets for 19 yards.
Chaos.
Chaos.
He
Drake
blocks.
London is the number 1
Literally,
option in that offense.
Drake
Yes.
London is doing everything we thought Kyle Pitts was going to do.
Exactly.
Yes.
Kyle Pitts is blocking way too much.
Dude, did you hear what their coach said about not getting Kyle Pitts involved? They said they're basically using him as a decoy for Kadarrell Hodge.
That's
the hell?
disrespectful.
Like,
Trade
he
him.
was like- they were like, yeah, he's drawing a lot of coverage, so he's opening up things for guys like Kadarrell Hodge. I'm like, dude, get Kyle Pitts the ball. You drafted him as a
Man.
top 5 player. I'm like,
Imagine Calvin Ridley in
Brutal.
this. Calvin Ridley would be amazing. Would
Oh
be
my
Drake
God,
London.
he'd be feasting.
Free Kyle Pitts? Are we starting a
free
movement?
Kyle Pitts, yes.
Free Kyle
Yes.
Pitts.
Free Kyle
Out the
Pitts,
pits.
please.
Yo, send him to the Packers.
Yes.
Juicy.
Either use Kyle Pitts or give him to somebody else that knows how to use him because it's bad. TJ Hawkinson, 5.6 points, 3 catches on 7 targets for 26 yards. Calmer chaos here for Hawk.
Yeah, he stinks too. Chaos.
It's like the same as
Chaos.
with DJ Chark. It was just, it's going to be Amon-Ra. Vince was saying all yesterday,
The
Amon-Ra's
best player.
The only one who can get open on his own. So Goff's just going to find them. Everybody else is just kind of going to get their little rations here and there. But
They're going to be hungry.
aside from the running backs and Amon-Ra St. Brown, I don't see anybody else being too consistent.
Yeah, I'm
Then
leaning towards chaos
Swift.
as well for sure. More mouths to feed this year means
said the
more
running
inconsistent games for Hawkinson. All right, before we get into some trust or bust, let's do today's sponsor, which is Underdog Fantasy. Again, Underdog Fantasy is the easiest way to play fantasy football, and you can get started now with their Monday Night Madness tonight. 150,000 in prizes. Draft a quick team, 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Super easy, super simple. Compete, you win, you get a lot of money.
It's fun.
They also have contests for baseball, hockey, basketball, whatever you're looking for. They have it season long as well for the sports that have not started yet. And when you sign up, make sure you use our code SUPERFB for a 100% deposit match of up to $100. So if you deposit 100, get another 100, $200 to play with. So again, our promo code is SUPERFB, SUPERFB, and you can play on the Underdog Fantasy app for iOS and Android, or you can sign up online at underdogfantasy.com. Now, let's get to some trust or bust. These guys snapped this week, starting at the quarterback position with Tua Tagovailoa, 52.86 points, 36 for 50, 469 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
That
Are we
man was
trusting
going
Tua?
bananas.
I'm not trusting
Yeah,
Tua
Not
yet.
trusting him.
I trust him.
I'm leaning towards trust.
The
His
week he only had
offense-
he didn't even have 17 the week before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
but
week before was definitely not the best game, obviously. But I think in most situations, he's going to have to do what he did this week to compete. Like, they're not going to be a team that's going to be up big in many games. So
Obviously, they cannot rely on those running backs. And I mean, you have Waddle, Tyreek Hill, McKissic. Why not just let Tua air the ball out? Obviously, he proved he could do it yesterday. He had like 4 touchdowns on just absolute bombs.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not fully trusting. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, I have to start Tua over everyone. But Tua or Russell Wilson next week, who would you start?
Russell Wilson.
Tua.
When Tua plays the Tua hype, everyone's going to buy in. Then he's going to play the Bills and have a big stinker. So
He's gonna have to
Building
throw
up to
it.
that.
He is playing the Bills next week. But I was thinking, like, if he was playing in like an equivalent matchup, I would probably consider Tua next week after the down games. Tua or Brady, same kind of thing. Tua's got some upside right now. Obviously, one game you want to see it on a more consistent basis, but it's a little juicy. I'm interested. Carson Wentz, Q's favorite man on the planet, 33.78 points, 30 for 46, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and added 23 yards on the ground. And currently, before Monday Night Football, he is quarterback number 2 on the season. Is this sustainable?
Doesn't he lead the
Hell
league
no.
in passing yards too?
Yeah, well, we
That
still got
would
Josh
not
Allen,
last. Yeah.
but
You trust him, Q?
Oh, I trust him. He the best receiver he's ever played with, besides maybe Michael Pittman, but the best receiver duo. And he was having a big stinker at the beginning of the game. And I guess they had to throw the ball because they were down a lot. And look where he ended up.
Wentz or
Not
Russ?
got things going.
Wentz or Russ?
Wentz next week is playing the Eagles. So fuck it. I would take Wentz. The revenge game.
yeah. And as Vince just mentioned in the chat, he doesn't even use Terry McLaurin. He's using Dox and he's using Samuel, guys that are open.
Logan
Whoever's open,
Thomas.
he's finding the open man. Yeah, Logan Thomas as well. He looks good. I can't lie. I mean, obviously they looked bad in that first half or so, but they did come back strong. I think they're going to be down in games where he's going to have to throw a lot, but just know if you're starting him consistently in the back of your mind, Carson Wentz can do some Carson Wentz things sooner rather than later.
Yes, he
And
can.
that was his first half. He did Carson Wentz things in the second half.
He was getting
I
sacked
mean,
every
more
other drop
turnovers than 1 interception could be on the horizon. One quick one here as well. Goff, 34 points. Flacco, 37 points. Either of those guys even worth trusting or just kind of fluky?
Nah.
I don't know if you're ever going to start Joe Flacco
Exactly.
unless there was a bye week this week.
Yeah, big time busts, fluky performances. Moving on to running backs.
Wait. I just gotta. You guys get the Underdog notification?
No.
It says drop everything, sit back, and watch the game like Rager.
Damn.
Wow.
That's the bid.
Roasted that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck
Yeah.
Fuck Rager. As in that guy.
Big facts.
Love Underdog.
Yeah,
Underdog
make sure you
stock
download
up.
Underdog.
Stock
sure.
up. That was funny, bro.
All right. Running backs, Tony Pollard, 19.8 points, 9 carries for 43 yards, found the end zone, 4 catches on 7 targets for 55 yards. Trust or bust here for Pollard as a starter.
Trust.
Like the trust.
Me too, but I
Cowboys.
don't know why. But I do.
The Cowboys are going to have to rely on, I guess, Noah Brown and the running backs because that seems to be the only receiver who can do anything. CD had a decent game, but, I mean, Tony Pollard was really the focal point of that offense with Cooper Rush under center, and I don't really see anything changing. Zeke wasn't getting the receiving work out of the backfield. Obviously, that was going to Pollard too. So,
Yeah, I don't think Zeke will ever lose his job, but he's not doing anything with his job,
yeah,
with the
Pollard
starting
could
job.
still. We saw last year Pollard was able to outproduce Zeke, even with Zeke getting majority or like half the touches.
Yeah, I definitely think Pollard is worth trusting, at least as a flex for sure. The receiving upside, especially with Cooper Rush dumping it off, I think it's going to be huge. And obviously, they're not using Zeke in the passing game. I think he has like 4 targets through 2 games. Pollard had 7 in this game alone. Definitely leaning towards Pollard to trust here for sure. Damian Harris next up, 16.7 points, 15 carries for 71 yards, and found the end zone. 2 catches on 2 targets for 16 yards as well, and only played 40% of the snaps compared to Ramondre's 62%. Trust or bust here for Damian Harris.
Would love to get a free Damian Harris train as well.
You mean
because-
I'm
Ramondre?
with that.
No, not Ramondre. Ramondre played majority of the snaps. He did nothing with them. He had the same amount of targets as Damian Harris. Damian Harris still out-touched him. I think this should be Damian Harris's backfield. I said it last year. I will continue to say it. He's the better running back, and it's time that the Patriots realize that. I'm trusting Damian Harris.
I'm with that too. I like if he's able to get 15 carries in a game, he's going to be able to do some decent work with it. A couple targets here or there. Obviously, he's not the best pass catching back. I think Ramondre should be used more as that, but he didn't get many targets when he was on the field either. So we'll see. But for now, I'm definitely leaning towards Harris over Stevenson in this backfield.
See.
J.D. McKissic, 13.3 points. Only 3 carries again for 9 yards, but 7 catches on 7 targets for 54 yards. As we saw, the Commanders were down big. Trust or bust here for McKissic?
Not trusting.
Yeah.
Too inconsistent.
Too
It's only going to get
inconsistent.
worse when Brian Robinson's activated. They said he should be back around like week 5. So until then, it should be like an even split. You could go either or, but after that, it's going to be hard to tell.
Yeah, I'm with that. Leaning towards bust. I think he's definitely worth having on your bench as a definitely bye week fill-in kind of guy who's going to get you a safe floor, but I wouldn't put him in my lineup just yet. Definitely have better options out there. Jeff Wilson, 12.3 points, 18 carries for 84 yards, 2 catches on 2 targets for 19 yards as well. Trust or bust here for Elijah Mitchell's backup?
Trust.
It's so hard for me to trust 49ers running
Yeah, I'm
backs.
still
Bro.
not
They
trusting.
I
But
can't.
anytime the starter goes down and Jeff Wilson comes in, he's always solid for those like
Jeffrey.
4 or 5 weeks until they come back.
Yeah.
No, like, I agree, but it's I don't know. They either like the backup gets hurt or like someone else. It's just like
Yeah.
Davis
There's-
Price didn't look all like that appetizing.
No. I
this
mean,
week.
it's Jeff Wilson's job, obviously, at this point. My only fear is obviously Jeff Wilson's injury history as well. He has never been able to stay on the field once he comes over, takes over, he plays well, and then he gets hurt too. And then random running backs start
Yeah.
getting mixed in.
Who the hell conditions these running backs
I
in
don't
San
know.
Francisco?
They need to fix it. But
They hired a child to do that.
I'm trusting Jeff Wilson as a decent running back moving forward. Davis Price, maybe an interesting flyer in case he does go down. He did get 14 carries as well, but he did very little with them, 33
That's
yards.
the effect of Jimmy G. So I guess they all got a little bit of a stock boost, but I still don't trust any of them
Yeah,
just because they're all playing.
I feel that. All right, let's move on to some wide receivers. Garrett Wilson, as we talked about earlier, 30 points. He's only owned in 61% of the leagues, by the way, so make sure you get that up ASAP. 8 catches on 14 targets for 102 yards, 2 touchdowns, and his snaps went up to 61%. And he has 22 targets through 2 weeks, and he's basically only played about 50% of the snaps for this team. Trust or bust here for Wilson?
Trust.
how don't you trust that?
There was a goal line stand where I'm pretty sure on all 3 downs they threw it to Garrett Wilson in the end zone. So I mean, he had 2 touchdowns. He's obviously Joe Flacco's favorite red zone target. At least he was this past week. That could be a sign for things to come. And right now, he just looks like the best receiver on that team so far.
Yeah, definitely trusting Garrett Wilson as well. I'm with that. So many targets. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, Zach Wilson might shake things up, but for now, grab Garrett Wilson for sure. At least put him on your bench. Christian Kirk, 25.8 points, 6 catches on 6 targets for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. We know you have to start him at this point, but where is he? Like, is he a wide receiver 2 at this point? A trustworthy wide receiver 2 for Christian Kirk?
I think so.
Yeah.
Thanks to Doug. Doug up Trevor Lawrence, who now up Christian Kirk. Still not worth that $1 million or whatever the fuck he got. $1 billion.
Trillion
that he got.
dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
big contract.
He's a wide receiver 2 for sure.
I'm with that. I mean, he's been rock solid. I think he's going to continue to play well. He's got to be the number 1 option here for Trevor Lawrence, who's looked better this year also. So give me some Christian Kirk. I'm all in.
Mm-hmm.
Amari Cooper bounced back after being on Calmer Chaos last week. 25.1 points, 9 catches on 10 targets, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Trust or bust for Coop?
Trust.
Let's see it again.
It had to come after the 12 targets or whatever it was last week was around there. So they finally equaled points. And who else are they targeting? Donovan
Njoku.
Peoples-Jones is garbage, and Njoku had his chance.
Come on, that's your boy, Q.
No. He
No
stinks now.
Njoku slander.
I'm sorry. He stinks.
Yeah,
You
Coop had
flipper.
only 6 targets last week, which was why we were a little bit hopeful.
Where the hell did Q get
Jones
12
had
from?
11, so I don't know if he was
Swore he had
mixing
12.
them up. But
I'm not trusting.
I'm not trusting right now either.
I'm trusting, but not fully trusting. I'm a little nervous. Like it was the Jets, still Jacoby Brissett, still a run first team. I think it's going to be
Nick Chubb had 3
inconsistent.
touchdowns.
I'd like it to be more consistent, but he's going to be all right. Like he's not going to be Amari Cooper on the Cowboys, but will be decent.
Amari
Decent
Cooper on the
flex
Browns.
option. We mentioned
that was funny.
mentioned him earlier as well. Drake London, 24.6 points, 8 catches on 12 targets for 86 yards and a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. He now has 19 targets through 2 weeks. Trust or bust?
Big trust. I'm so happy he's doing good. I was preaching for him all off season.
He was the first receiver taken in the draft, the real draft. So obviously he should be good.
Yeah.
All the rookie receivers have been good so far.
Yeah, even Olave as well.
Not the Packers receivers though.
Christian planning on talking about Olave, but
fuck that guy.
He had 13 targets as well. So someone to keep an eye on. But yeah, Drake London, trust for sure. Lock him in your lineup. Noah Brown, 20.1 points for the Cowboys, 5 catches on 5 targets for 91 yards, and found the end zone. He is wide receiver 16 on the season through 2 games before Monday Night Football. So probably around wide receiver 20. Trust or bust here?
I'm trusting because Dalton Schultz might miss some time. So
My
who
team
else?
is in shambles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I trust, but like, do you guys like hate Gallup? Like, do you think Gallup isn't gonna like?
No,
I
I
just
think
want to
Cal.
see
I do.
how he looks when he comes back.
You do hate, or you do think he's gonna do something?
I do hate.
I don't hate.
Sean always
Thank you.
hated Gallup.
He's been
though.
mid for his whole career. He's been this
No.
breakout year
He's been
every
in the
year.
shadows of Cooper and then CD and Cooper and
And he's
Now it's
been
just
supposed
CD.
to break out every year and be involved every year, and he's not.
he
All right,
gets
free
hurt.
Gallup then. My own movement against Sean, 1v1.
I'm not a big believer in Gallup, so I'm with Noah Brown. I also think it's probably a little bit of the Cooper Rush effect. Noah Brown was throughout the offseason was on second team a lot, so probably has a good connection with Cooper Rush. Tyler Lockett, 19.7 points, 9 catches on 11 targets, 107 yards, and he got his snaps up 12% to 92% on the field pretty much the
Jesus.
whole game. Trust or bust here for Lockett.
Where
You'd
was
be
he
a
week
damn
1?
fool to trust this man.
Yeah, bro, we've been through this way too many times.
And that's with Russell Wilson, and this man has Geno Smith throwing to him, and you want to trust him week in and week out? Hell no.
Never trust him a day in my life.
This is boomer bust Tyler Lockett, as always, and with a worse quarterback, bust for now, unless we see this consistently for like 4 weeks. It's going to take a while for me to
it
be like,
will.
you know what? I'm trusting Tyler Lockett.
And then that
usually
week
when
you
I do
trust
that,
him,
he busts.
it's right downhill.
Yeah, leaning towards bust for sure. Cass did mention in the chat, Gallup's best season better than Smitty's best season.
Oh,
Smitty has
Smitty's
one
had
season.
One season
so-
under him in one game. One season in one game.
Yeah. I guess. All
Poor
right.
comparison.
I mean, he's
For
right
comparison.
technically.
All right. Jacoby Myers, 18.5 points, 9 catches on 13 targets for 95 yards. Trust or bust here for Myers.
I
Mm.
like Myers.
I want to trust him.
He's been getting the targets. So, I mean, Mac Jones has been looking for him. Did he find the end zone this week?
Nope.
Nope.
Oh, of course not.
What are you, crazy?
Choop.
He just has to score a couple times. And, I mean, like, if he adds a touchdown here and there to his stat lines, it's why wouldn't you be trusting him? But until that happens, I still like him as a flex. Nothing more than that right now, but I could definitely see improvement in the future.
Yeah, I'm with that. I'm trusting him as a flex as well. Pretty much really safe floor. He's going to have decent volume, but the ceiling is probably this week, 18 points or so. And
Right.
that's 6 catches, 60 yards and a touchdown, or 9 catches for 95 yards. Like the touchdowns aren't going to be often. So
Or at all.
if you're looking for
Few
10 to
and far
12
between.
points, throw in Jacoby Myers.
And while we're still on the topics of wide receivers, Devonta Adams, please ask to go back to Green Bay because Derek Carr stinks.
Yeah, please. I don't know what the hell.
His whole family was in attendance, and you got him 12 yards.
At least
And
he
it-
found the end zone.
Who gives a hell? Shit.
It was 1 yard touchdown.
Right.
Who gives a hell shit?
Not me.
I give a hell shit.
I don't give a hell shit.
All right. Tight ends, before we get into some waiver targets here. Mike Gesicki, 14.1 points, 4 catches on 4 targets for 41 yards, and found the end zone. Trust or bust here for Gesicki?
No,
Not trusting. On a game where Tua threw 50 times, he had 4 targets.
Well, it's because they saw him do that dumbass gritty.
That definitely is what happened.
She should never get the ball again.
That's a good point.
That was the worst gritty of all time. Actually, it wasn't. Adam
He
Schefter
said it
was
looks
pretty
so
bad
much
too.
better in the mirror at home.
Yeah. He sped to the sideline doing that thing.
Yeah, that was bad for sure.
That shit was so funny.
Definitely bust for Gesicki. Too many mouths to feed here. He's going to be so inconsistent, touchdown dependent tight end at best.
Definitely bust for Gesicki.
Tyler Higbee, exact same amount of points, 14.1, but he did it on 7 catches on 9 targets for 71 yards. Trust or bust here for Higbee?
I
I
trust.
think I'm trusting him.
I want to trust.
How many targets did he have last week? Something
9.
close to 9.
9, then 11 on week 1.
11
Yeah,
week 1. So he's got 20 targets through 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. For a tight end, like, I'm trusting that.
Love that.
Yeah, definitely. The volume's there. I'm definitely trusting him for now. I'm not fully sold that he's going to be consistently getting those targets.
Why not?
He's going to say Van Jefferson.
No, I think it's disrespectful that Matt Stafford has only targeted Allen Robinson 7 times, and Tyler Higbee has 20 targets.
He's open.
Something going on there, but
Yeah,
Speculation.
definitely something going on there.
Speculation.
but yeah. Anyways, Higbee trust for now for sure. Logan Thomas, 12.7 points, 3 catches on 5 targets for 37 yards and a touchdown. Got his snaps up 11%, up to 73. Trust or bust here for Logan Thomas as he's coming back from that injury last year.
The moment you
hard to
trust him, he's going to get
trust.
hurt again.
Yeah, see, if he was guaranteed healthy, you could trust him with Wentz.
But I mean, even healthy, it's kind of like the Gesicki where there's so many receivers there that could get fed. And Wentz has been throwing the ball an unreal amount. And most of those targets are going to one of the 3 receivers over Logan Thomas.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Logan Thomas, 4th option here. Maybe worth a bench ad, but not trustworthy yet.
Of course, he scores against me.
Tough break for you, Matt. Let's do some waiver targets before we do some trivia with Q. I will start us off with someone we already talked about. Don't have to go too in-depth here, but Noah Brown, only owned in 4% of sleeper leagues and has 14 targets on a team that is going to be in close games or down a ton. And he's still going to be playing the majority of the snaps with Gallup out. I still think he's going to be involved afterwards. Add him to your bench. Scoop Noah Brown. T-Gots, what do you got for us?
So I never thought I'd be saying this one. I already see I'm getting booed in the Google Doc for this. But Jared Goff, like, bro, he threw 71 times in 2 weeks. Like, we know Amon-Ra's going off. Like, the Lions' offense is not bad. Like, it's truly not bad. And Goff, like, is the leader of that offense. So, like, he has to do something. He's quarterback 7 right now. Obviously, there's 4 more quarterbacks to play tonight. But, like, besides that, still, quarterback 7, like, they're going to have to throw. They're going to be down every single game. Like,
Yeah.
Jared Goff's going out there slanging it, and he's playing pretty good so far this year. And I think he deserves a roster spot. I know someone lost Dak. I know someone lost Trey Lance. Like, give Jared Goff some love. I might start Jared Goff next week over Brady because Brady's been so bad and Goff has been so good. Like, it looks ugly. It looks ugly, but the numbers are there. Like,
Jared Goof.
Yeah.
owned in 22% of leagues, by the way. 22%.
He's definitely worth a scoop. He's got more options this year. I think we've seen him be a low-end QB1 in the past when he had good options on a better offense. His offense is looking better. The offensive line's playing well. So everything's set up for Goff to be pretty decent this year. I think he's worth an ad. I like that. Q, who we got?
Mine might be a little more gross, but it's a temporary waiver target. It's gonna be Scotty Miller. We know Mike Evans is out next week with suspension. Julio is banged up. Who knows if he's going to play week 3? And then Chris Godwin might also be out. He did have 8 targets, only 3 catches, so not too efficient, but he seemed to be the most. I need to look it up. He may have been the most targeted on that team. And for next week, he plays the Packers, so he may see a lot of work there. Could be the Wes Welker / Julian Edelman / they probably had another Danny Amendola role. which
Chris Hogan.
Tom Brady's very old arm. I don't know how far he's going to throw down the field, and a little slot guy could definitely have some value with the big names out.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Definitely a good fill-in, especially if you're looking for somebody. Matt, who we got?
Hold on, Matt. Was it you that illed me or was it Q?
It wasn't me.
Who yucked my yum?
It was me. I'm sorry. You can ill this guy, but this is Lil Kev's man, his boy Greg Dortch, wide receiver for the Cardinals. Aside from Hollywood Brown, he seems to be the most effective pass catcher, having 13 targets through the first 2 weeks for 11 catches, 118 yards, and he found the end zone this past week. God forbid Rondell Moore misses a little bit more time. He could only see his role increase. He's only owned in 14% of leagues right now, so he's most likely not owned in yours. And the Cardinals are going to be in a shootout next week against the Rams. So I don't see why Greg Dortch couldn't see his fair share of targets again this week.
All right.
Dortch.
I'm with
Said
that.
the best name in the NFL, Greg Dortch.
Solid name. I can't hate it. All right, Q, let's do some trivia. If anyone else has any more questions about waiver ads or anything at all, feel free to drop them in the chat. We will get to them before we get out of here. Matt, those things smack.
Smack.
What was that
To the
one
hardest
guy's
degree.
one guy's name? Like Lil Jordan something?
Lil
Jordan Humphrey.
Free.
Still active. He should be good with that name.
He was on the Saints, wasn't he?
Yeah, he still might be there. Irrelevant.
How many questions we got today, Q?
2 questions today. Keep it short because football, we've got a lot to watch tonight. Is everyone ready, Matt?
Yeah.
All right. So the first question is, only 2 tight ends remain in the top 5 that were there week 1. Who are they?
Shit.
Who the hell is number 2? It's got to be one. It's got to be one guy that's in there, but the second guy.
I'm guessing. I know one for
I
sure.
don't even remember who the top 5 were last week. I know one was.
There were
That's
like
how
any
bad they
bowls.
were.
There was like
There were a couple
3
any
any bowls.
There's probably still an any bowl in the top 5.
There has to be. And it's between one of 2 Henny Bowls.
I don't freaking know. I'm just writing another name.
All right.
Whatever.
You all have answers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Travis Kelce is the one. He's still
Yup.
number 1.
Mhm.
And Gerald Everett is number 4.
Fuck.
Put Zach.
Why
Ertz.
didn't
I don't even know.
I
if Zach
said
Ertz is
OJ
top 5.
Howard.
OJ Howard was in it last week.
Yeah, he was.
And Taysom Hill. And
I was
Yeah,
thinking it
Taysom
was
Hill
either
this
between
week.
Taysom Hill or OJ Howard for me.
Any bowls. But Gerald
Gerald
Everett
Everett.
looking solid. If he's still
Yeah,
out
that's
there on
good.
waivers, scoop him for sure.
as long as Justin Herbert's healthy.
Yeah,
I need a
please
freaking tight end now.
pray for Herbo's ribs.
All right. So next question kind of relates to the yesterday. Who were the starting quarterbacks the last time Indianapolis won in Jacksonville? The range of years, it goes, I'll say you have an 8-year range, and I'll give you a hint. It wasn't last year, so you can mark Carson Wentz off for the Colts.
Well, yeah, we know that. Choked in the playoffs. 8-year range. So from before last year, so like 2020 to 2012.
2020 to 2014. 2014 is the latest you can go back.
Okay.
And the Colts haven't had many. Actually, they have had a couple starting quarterbacks, but
Confident in my answer. I know it's not right though.
Yeah, probably same. I have a feeling it's another guy. But I don't want to write that guy.
Me neither. I think I know what you're talking about.
I think I wrote that guy.
I don't know. We'll see.
you have answers?
Yeah.
Just thinking.
No, I
Okay.
wrote it. I just
Oh yeah, I'm good.
All right, so I'm gonna go with the Jags player first.
It's gotta
It was
be.
Blake Bortles.
okay.
Yeah, gotta
Good.
be
Good.
Blake.
Come on,
The Colts quarterback was Andrew Luck.
Fuck!
Easy.
Matt, did you write Brissett?
I wrote Phillip Rivers.
I didn't even think about Phil. Did Phil lost to Jacksonville too? Wow.
Yeah, the last time was 2014. They get smoked every year.
Oh my god. Yeah, and I was like, it has to be Blake Bortles, but I was like, maybe it was Brissett, like on a random game.
That's what I was thinking too.
But nah, Andrew Luck, lock it in. I got
Jacob
that one.
Eason.
Good, John. Not
Sam
seeing
Ellinger.
any questions in the chat. I did have to refresh, so if there were any earlier, sorry.
That was
Missed
the
it
last
somewhere.
question.
Yeah.
Yes. Quick trivia today. And that's a wrap for the week 2 recap. We will be back on Wednesday with our week 3 review.
Go Birds.
Make sure you use our promo code SUPERFB if you're considering Underdog Fantasy. Definitely try it out tonight. $5 contest going on. Only got to deposit 10, get 10 extra dollars for free. SUPERFB. Make sure you're following us here on Twitch if you're watching. Turn on notifications as well so you don't miss us when we're live. Throw us a sub on YouTube as well. And like I said, if you wanted to see our previews for tonight's games during last week's episode on Wednesday, check it out on YouTube. We're on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, wherever you get your podcast. Also on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all social medias. Just look up Super Fantasy Bros. See you guys on Wednesday. Go Birds.
Go Birds.